on this computer. All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello. This is Ignacy and Portal Games.
And this is the Podfather of Gaming, Stephen Bonacore. You are listening to Board Games Insider, episode 235. And we're recording this on May 6th, 2022. Board Games Insider is a proud member of the Dice Tower Network. And on Board Game Breakfast yesterday, we discussed the winners of the 2022 Golden Geek Awards, as Tom Vasel gleefully announced that Board Games Insider did not win. Maybe there is a conspiracy orchestrated by Tom Vasel against us. What do you think?
I think that I will use a phrase that I rarely use, and this phrase will be, Tom, you disappointed me.
Crazy. All right, Ignacy, what's going on over at Portal Games?
I don't know.
You don't know. Nothing.
There's so many things happening, guys.
Too much.
Oh my God. I'm trying to remind myself. Like, I know that we are preparing for the Dice Tower East. This will be big convention for me because I'm getting back to America. I don't have a flight tickets yet, but it is almost in stone that I'm coming to America. So I'm in touch with the Dice Tower East crew to do some seminars for you guys, so you have some fun at the show. I'm scheduling what games we will demo and present in our rooms. So on one hand, the Dice Tower. On the other hand, the UK Game Expo. I'm not going to UK Game Expo, but of course I'm helping my team because I was there many times, so I want to brief them and prepare them perfectly for the show. And a reminder for everyone, at UK Game Expo in Birmingham, we are pre-releasing Gutenberg English edition. It will be the first time we are presenting this Portal Games edition of the game in Europe and in the world, and then this will be follow-up release in the whole world in English. And then in the meantime, I'm preparing for Modena. My first convention this year will be Modena. I'm going to Italy to meet my fans and to present Batman and Dune and other games. So basically, on one hand, and our fans know it very well, I love to meet you guys. I love to get all these cookies, but I hate travels. I'm so afraid of traveling. I hate this. So it is a very difficult time. When I am already in Modena, when I am already at the Dice Tower Con, it will be the blast meeting you and having fun. But the whole preparation, these flight tickets, these reservations, these hotel bookings, it's terrible. So that was my Slavic segment of the show, complaining. On the bright side, Batman is almost released. Reviewers are playing and preparing their reviews, and I keep my fingers crossed that they have a great time. Today, exactly today, as we are recording on Friday, we shipped the pre-order copies for Europe, so the European players should get notifications today.
Mine too, I think. I got a notification. I think that it shipped for me too.
Exactly. So yes. The European and American copies shipped, and Polish will be shipped in this upcoming week. And all the fans who pre-ordered from us will get access to the website the week before everybody else, so they are able to brag that they are already playing because they got this activation code. So it is amazing. So yes, Batman is happening, and we discussed it many times over the years because yesterday I was trying to remember when we started, and I think it was 2015 or 16. Like, it was so many years ago when we started the podcast. And years passed, I designed and released so many games, and it is the same situation. I'm afraid, like this stress, this pressure, and I guess this is the same for the artist when the artist starts the concert and they have this, like even the Elton John I get after this all the concert, just these few minutes before getting to the seat, yes, he got this adrenaline and
nervous stomach.
Yeah, so this is exactly true for me. And even though I designed so many games already, this is the moment. This is 1 or 2 weeks when I know that the reviewers are playing. I know that the people will get the game next week, and I hope they will have a great time. So this was happening. Basically, very difficult time for me. Preparing for travels, I hate it, and waiting for the feedback for my new game, very stressful. So tell us, Stephen, was in the retirement world of being happy and chilled out?
Well, besides receiving the notice of getting Batman Everybody Lies, so that should be coming soon because it ships out of QML, right? So
yep.
it's
You will
usually
get it
a
few days, yep.
one day ship. So maybe they just printed the label, so it'll come next week or something like that. But it should be here real soon, and I'll show it off when I get it. I got yesterday. I got my copy of Foundations of Rome.
Now, oh my God. I wanted to back it, but it was quite expensive and the shipping was expensive. And I love Emerson, but I said, Emerson, forgive me, I'm not backing. And now I have regretted this decision. Oh my God.
It's just so amazing. I got it with the Sundrop wash on it and everything. It's everything I wanted it to be. It's the first time I've seen it in this format. I played it, as I've been talking about so many times, at the Dice Tower cons and Dice Tower retreats. You are making my week even more miserable now. Yeah, in my top 10 of last year games that I did at the Winter Spectacular with Tom. I gushed about the game and I gave it an 11. And Tom was like, I regret it. The number hadn't come on the screen yet, and I was gushing so much. And Tom says, what did you give it? An 11? And all of a sudden, boom, 11 goes up on the screen because I told Roy to put 11, and I said put up a 10 after that. So, yeah, it's just so good, and it looks so good, and it is just so good. So those two things make it an instant classic for me, and I can't wait to actually get it to the table.
So our loyal listeners who know your rule that if you're putting a new box, you get rid of the box. I saw pictures of this Foundation game, so it makes 3 other games get out of your shelf, correct?
It might make
a couple boxes.
It might make 6 games because I actually measured it at one time, and it's either 5 or 6 Ticket to Ride size boxes if you put them together. So right, it's the same length by width, right, length and height, but not the same depth. So it's 6 times or 5 times the depth of a Ticket to Ride box. So yes, I have not put it on the shelf yet. I've got to determine what's going to leave, but there'll be a mass migration of games out of my collection due to this one game. Crazy stuff. What else do we want to talk about? I'm going to be out of here for 2 weeks, starting early next week. So we're going to have a little bit of a hiatus on the recordings. I'll be in Hawaii for 2 weeks. So Ignacy, we're going to have to take some time off from recording. I'll get back to everybody on when we can do the next one, but hopefully it'll be in 2 weeks, something like that. So we'll get back to it, whatever schedule we can get back to as soon as I'm back in the continental US. It's too many hours to even try it between Hawaii and Poland. That would be 12 hours. That would be a 12-hour time difference between Hawaii and Central European time. So that's too much. I'm going with some friends, local friends here who are not gamers. Plus, I'm going to meet up with the wonderful Zev Schlesinger and his wife, Janine. We're going to see each other on 2 islands there. We're going to see each other on Oahu in the beginning of the trip, and then on the Big Island at the end of the trip. Very much looking forward to relaxing. I've been to Hawaii a couple of times in the past, and I think it's the single most beautiful place on the planet. I highly recommend people going. And when you go, try not to stay on Oahu, but get over to Kauai or Maui, where the scenic beauty is just amazing. Ignacy, I guess you'll never make that kind of trip. Too long for you, right?
No. On one hand, Hawaii is so cool, but I cannot imagine myself flying there. Like, I don't know.
Other conventions, though, BGG Spring, I'm still not sure I'm going. It's not looking likely at this point because it's right after Hawaii. So I think I have to pass. I really wanted to go out to Dallas, see my friends, but I think it's going to be a no-go. But then we have Origins, and I announced at the end of last show, and the little surprise thing we do at the end, that I'm co-hosting Origins TV. Well, what does that mean? It's going to be piped all around the convention center, all around the food venues, the big bar on 2, if you know where that is, at the Hyatt. All the industry people hang out there. A lot of people go there. It's myself and B Zelda, who's a very cool person. Just met them. And they are of RPG content creation fame. So we're going to make a great team, board gaming and RPG content creation. I'll be doing segments with them for the morning welcome, for the closing, the show closing. And then I'm going to personally be doing multiple back row segments where I get to basically interview the people in the back row, the lesser known companies, the small companies, who don't get as much time, in the spotlight. So GAMA wants me to get back there. They'll sign up on a sign up sheet so that I'll go back there and interview a bunch of them. And also like the bigger companies I'll be interviewing, like, my good friends in various at Portal Games. Hopefully I'll get an interview with Danielle, for instance, right? I mean, if she's going to be at Origins, and other friends on the bigger companies in the industry. So all of that together is going to be a lot of fun for me. I've never done anything like that, but I certainly like to talk. So doing interviews with people should be a lot of fun. Last thing is going to be my final time that I shout out Eric Hanoui's book, Board Game Publishing. It's Better Than a Real Job. I highly recommend you check this book out. You can buy it on Amazon. I'm showing it right now on the YouTube channel. And it literally takes you through all of the steps to be a board game publisher, how we do what we do. And in fairly good detail. I started to read some of the chapters. This is 267 pages. So he goes pretty deep into this stuff, different kinds of molds that we have to make. I'm just going to different aspects in his book here. He talks about how you want to store, package your games together for shipping and things like that. So you really get a great overview with some deep details on board game publishing. So check out Board Game Publishing. It's Better Than a Real Job by Eric Hanouis. Is available at Amazon.com. It's a free plug to him because he's such a good guy and a big friend of the show, constantly feeding us news and things like that. In the meantime, Ignacy, let's get to the event deck.
We don't want to remind it every week, but we just wanted to remind that we were not nominated for board games for Golden Geek Awards this year. We wanted to it's sync with you guys. So for the next couple of months, you will figure out what to do next time to not make us cry.
We have to publicize it more, I guess, too. Maybe it's partly our fault. I can't. No? It's not our fault. You got to help us, guys. You got to help us. All right. So first article, which for some reason the link is not coming up for me, but here we go. First article is GAMA. We have a bunch of articles on GAMA, and GAMA has just had new elections for new board members. They do this every year. New members come on every year, and this is the new face of GAMA because GAMA changed the seats on the board. It's not all board game publishers. This has traditionally been a board game manufacturers, publishers association, but now all the tiers within the industry are represented. And the new president is a retailer. The new GAMA president, a position that's elected by the board of directors, is retailer Kylie Primus of Games Unlimited in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, as of Thursday's meeting of the board of directors. 2 of the 4 officers are now retailers. The new GAMA officers elected at the meeting are President Kylie Primus, Vice President Grace Collins, Snowbright Studios, Secretary Jennifer Ward, Crazy Squirrel Games and Toys, and Treasurer Stefan Brassard. He was a former president now of Funko Games. So congratulations again to everybody who is on the board, and a whole bunch of new people have joined right now. Matt Fantastic, he's a good friend. He's been out there for a long time out in the industry in various ways, designer and publisher Nicole Brady. Cito Sanchez from Peach State Hobby, PhD. it's a slate of people that really have been noted in the industry for a long time and are really trying to help out now. So I'm very happy with everybody that has gotten a seat, and I hope that they can make big strides here for everybody in the industry. Ignacy, I know GAMA is your favorite topic in the world.
I think that we should make another election for their marketing team, because their press releases only about the elections are boring. Like, they need to communicate more about other things they are doing, because fun or not fun, my perception of this organization, the main purpose of this organization are elections, because it's the only press releases they are sending out. So maybe they are doing more, but then their marketing team need to prepare other press releases.
I'll get on that. I will talk to the marketing director, and I'll see what I can do, who I'm going to mention in a second, actually. Also in GAMA news, they turned it around in 2021. The trade organization, the Game Manufacturers Association, returned to profitability in 2021 after a six-figure loss in 2020, the first COVID year, according to preliminary financial statements obtained by ICV2. The net income in 2021 was the first time GAMA had shown a profit since 2018. The big change was in revenue. Although GAMA Expo was virtual in 2021 after an in-person event in 2020, Origin's Game Fair was held in September 2021. There was no show in 2020, which allowed for a substantial increase in show revenue. So it's good to see that they're back in profitability. I think no matter what we like to joke about, or Ignacy certainly likes to joke, I think that you always need, when you have any industry, regardless of its size, needs a representation to then promote the industry. In some cases, in the really big ones, to lobby political leaders to do things for them. And here, we just need ways to promote the industry, to make the industry stronger. So I'm happy that GAMA is on the mend, new people, profitability, all of these are good signs. And since Ignacy is not going to talk, I'm just going to keep going. And we now have GAMA drama. I'm not going to mention.
Oh, surprise.
However, this was GAMA maybe doing all the right things. It's actually still going on right now. And I'm not going to talk too much about it because I'm not going to give anybody publicity about this thing. Because basically, some new people joined GAMA just as a member. Yeah, you can join it. Anybody listening here can join GAMA. You can join as a supporting member, and it costs like very small. Or you can get a vote, like you can become just a publisher can join it as a voting member, or a retailer as a voting member. It costs like $300. But as a regular member, you can just join, anybody. Well, somebody joined who's a notable, really bad player in the greater portion of the industry, and they're known for hate speech. And basically, they were slammed. And right now, there's a process. There's a code of conduct that GAMA adopted last year. And this is being reviewed very quickly. And probably they're going to be thrown out because it's going to be like, what? We can't have somebody like this in the industry. So as a member of GAMA, I don't know the final outcome. I haven't seen the final outcome. I don't think it's been adjudicated yet. However, they move quickly. Any big organization can only move at certain speeds. So drama, yes, but hopefully it gets passed. It's not like a bad thing for GAMA. It's just that, like, wow, we got to get rid of some bad players.
I was already making fun of it on Twitter, so I cannot make GAMA too angry at me. Like, I need to, make in a small steps. So
there you go.
Comments.
And as a small aside to this, and you mentioned marketing and GAMA and stuff like that, we never mentioned that a very, very close friend of mine, Rachel Blasky, became the marketing manager at GAMA just about 2 months ago. It didn't get picked up on ICV2, and I forgot to mention it, but she's amazing, and I think that she will do phenomenal things. She works directly for the executive director, John Stacy. So with Rachel on board there, only great things are going to happen at GAMA. So, and she's one of the people responsible for getting me to be at Do the Origins TV and stuff like that, because she knows me so well, and she knows that I'll I'll do a good job for them. So congratulations to Rachel. Do great things. I know you will.
And
Let's get to
crossed,
games.
absolutely.
Yes. Now let's get to games because,
we are talking games. Interesting.
We're talking about games here. So a soft announcement was made at one of the Fantasy Flight announcements, and I don't remember exactly where this came from, but we reported on.
I saw it on the Facebook. Yes, I saw it on the Facebook.
It came, yeah, but they didn't give like any details. And what am I talking about? It's Twilight Imperium for the Roll and Write. What? It's going to be called, at least it sounds like it's going to be called Twilight Inscription. It's going to be a mega roll and write. Well, TI4 is a mega game. Mega roll and write. You're going to get 4 pages of sheets for different parts of the game. I think I saw an explore, a technology, a war section.
Instead of one pencil, you get the whole set of pencils because it's so epic.
It's crazy. When I almost thought it was a joke when I heard it, but you know what? I'm all in. I love roll and writes. I love TI4. I obviously can't play TI4 very often. You need, that's a game you don't want to play with 2 people. I'm not even sure you can. I think you can, but no, you want to play with a lot of people, A, and B, it takes many hours and you have to relearn the rules all the time because there's so many rules. But when I saw this, I was like, yes, I'm so in. I can't wait to try this thing out. There's no release date. There was no artwork, but wait for Twilight Inscription, which is TI4, the mega roll and write.
It was a very, very strange announcement because for a second, I thought it is somebody had the April Fool announcement and just postponed the release of the joke. Because it was just a Facebook post, just a cover, just a short description. I said, it doesn't look like an actual press release and it is so weird project. But well, apparently it was not April's Fool. So very weird communication on FFG for the big thing. Like actually, this is one of the biggest titles in their catalog, one of the most famous one. So if you are releasing the sort of, not expansion, but like a sister game, it should be a big announcement, not just like a random post on the Facebook. But well, we are talking about this, so they got what they wanted. they want people to talk, right? So
we talked about it. Board Game Breakfast talked about it. Tom and I were yelling at each other about, how good. Tom's like, this is going to suck. I'm like, this is going to be great. So all kinds of good stuff. And in the same category of like old games becoming new again, Love Letter, which set an entirely new standard in the industry for the micro game, is coming out with a 2nd edition with new cards, and it's coming out as a 10th anniversary edition with all the previous stuff in it. Now, does that mean like it'll have Batman and Lord of the Rings and all of those editions in it? I couldn't tell, but it sounded like that's what it's going to have. Oh,
I would be surprised.
OMG. I mean, right, because you have to pay everybody.
IPs.
Yeah,
no, because of the IPs. Like if they got Batman, most likely they don't have it. No, we don't know. Obviously, we don't know.
We don't know.
Difficult.
But let me tell you something. I actually played Love Letter again recently. I remember how much I loved the game when I played it again recently. It's just a great, short, fun filler that is the yardstick against which all micro games are measured, because it's that good in my opinion. So I'm all in for this. I'm 100% getting either or both the 2nd edition and the 10th anniversary edition. So excited.
I precisely remember SN, me at the halls, and one of my employees buying this game, and I was like, what the hell is that? Like, why would you buy this? Because the hype was not there. And then we went to the hotel, we played this game, and I said, okay, this is something very new, very innovative, and it will be a big. And then it became big. So I was there when it was a beginning of this Love Letter for Europe and then for America. And from the perspective of designer, I cannot explain you guys how big a revolution it was for the whole industry. Kudos to the designer, Seiji Kanai, and brilliant game. I have it in my collection. I don't know if I need a big epic version because it's a micro game, but this game deserves all the respect it has.
Yep, absolutely. And more in the bad news for not only our industry, but the world. Call this container apocalypse or logistics apocalypse 2. Maybe we are going to have new supply chain and port congestions coming. Supply chain challenges from new China lockdowns could be the worst yet. Shipping delays, port congestion promise to worsen the situation through the summer. The wave of lockdowns that currently affect roughly 25% of China's population, per the New York Times, will have supply chain impacts beyond anything experienced to date, according to Chain Store Age. Not only have the lockdowns, especially in Shanghai, China, their largest city and major port, slowed manufacturing and shipping out of China. Once lockdowns end, there will be a rush to ship products to catch up, leading to congestion at U.S. ports. These impacts will lead to significant delays and shortages on imports from China in the early summer through the fall, the peak shipping season. So, Ignacy, just when you thought it was safe to come out, guess what? We're going to have more problems.
I see myself here in this podcast, like either I say something funny, either I say something very, very sad. And this is the part with the sad. And it's great that you brought this news, because I was about to talk about it for a couple of last weeks. So our perception of the society is that this COVID is finally gone, that we won this battle against the pandemic. In many countries, there is no restrictions anymore. Some countries still have restrictions, but we all feel that, okay, we won this terrible battle. And this is our perception of the daily life. But here, as I work as a publisher and I work with China, both for the Portal Games USA and for Portal Games Poland, in China, COVID strikes back. And the manufacturer, the company where we print the Robinson Crusoe, is closed down. And when I have to write the update on a campaign and write to the backers, hey, the company where we produce Robinson Crusoe is closed due to the COVID, many people who have this perception, hey, but we want COVID, the COVID is gone. Why something is locked down? And there is always this mistrust to the publisher. The publisher is always doing something wrong. We don't trust publisher. So if you are bringing this news, and if you can once again explain to the listeners who may then pass the news to the other gamers, situation in China is getting very, very difficult. Once again, from my publisher, my company perspective, we printed Ark Nova. I guess you heard about this game because it's a new hot game, Ark Nova. Everybody talks about.
Never heard of it.
Ark Nova.
Never heard of it. I'm kidding. It's winning every award. Yeah.
So Ark Nova, I have the whole print run ready in China, and it is stuck.
Oh,
because of the lockdowns. Yes, so I have Ark Nova, and now my logistic team is figuring out how to bring the game to Poland. Everybody wants to buy it, and we have it ready, and it's in China. As I said, yesterday I was writing an update on our Game Fund campaign, our Kickstarter, about Robinson Crusoe, and I had to write these words: plastic is produced, wooden pieces are produced, but the paper things are not printed because the company is under the lockdown. So once again, if our listeners who are interested in the industry, who are interested in the other side of our hobby, can understand, it's really getting bad again, and we have no clue what will be the next weeks, what will be the next months in China. As for now, it looks like the beginning of the pandemic. This 2 years ago in China, everything is starting to lock down.
It's really, really not good, and it's, for whatever reason, it's worse in China, and I don't know why that is. Besides the fact that they can, as a totalitarian type of regime, that they can just take a quarter of their population and make them stay indoors. I don't understand why it's happening, but it is, and it will affect things in the manufacturing space. And since it does that, it affects it in the logistics space. And since it's that, it's affecting it as consumer goods across the West. Simply going to happen. So everyone out there, publishers are not your enemies. Trust me, we want to sell you games. In the meantime, let's get over to strategy and tactics. So Sean S., who's at SMS137355, he asks, after a theme is picked, are there certain colors that you would steer artists away from, i.e. space games being bright neon colors because they don't sell well, or do colors not affect sales of themed games? It's interesting. So he's asking if the colors of the art, so he's not asking like the components, I guess, but they're related. Do the colors of the art affect the sales on a given theme? Ignacy, what do you think? That's an interesting question.
I think this is super interesting question. And when I was thinking about it, preparing to the podcast, there's a couple of very interesting things in this. So I say Friedman Freeze, and you say green, right? All the games from Friedman Freeze are green, and I guess if now Stronghold Games under this new management releases new game from Friedman Freeze and the box is blue, it will not sell. Like, what the hell? This is like this is a fake Friedman. So on one hand, we talk about the brand. I remember, and you remember this too, because it was a huge thing, Time Stories, white box, and suddenly all other publishers says white box, that's tempting. And we had this period on the, I do remember on the shelves that so many white boxes. Oh, that was cool. So we had these trends in games. And then from my perspective as a designer, I have to admit that, for instance, once again, the game that we published together, Stronghold Undead, I got the vision that I wanted the board to be in the night because it's necromancer. This is the dark side. So I went to my artwork team and I said, I don't care. It has to be battle in the night. Make it in this dark scheme. And other example, I had Imperial Settlers, my cute game, and I said it has to be colorful. It must be nice and silly, and I want to have a bright colors. So I, as a designer, tell the artwork team what I envisioned for the game. But it was not consulted with the sales. It was not discussed with the marketing team. It was my decision. I have this lucky position that I'm the owner of the company and designer. But I guess on the first glance, this question looks like, what? And then you think, and you can find many examples that this color actually mattered, and somebody precisely picked the color, or at least a tone for the company. So very interesting.
Yeah, and his example, space games being bright neon. Sure, you would not do that. It wouldn't make sense to do that. So yes, you pick colors based on theme. And you pick colors based on the feeling. Maybe that's even a better way of putting it, right? The feeling that you want to convey in whatever you're doing. You're making a superhero game based on comics. You're making a comic book game. Comics, well, you know the palette of comics. It's primary colors, right? That's what you're going to use in that kind of thing. So very interesting question. At first, you're looking like, what? Okay, now you get it. Yep, thank you. Thank you, Sean, for that. Jesper Ron, he's at Athenberg. In autumn 2019, Uwe Rosenberg was interviewed by a local German newspaper about his games for the Spiel that year. In the interview, he mentions a prototype about GAMA and the local environmental problems. Quote, in his so-called expert games, Uwe thinks about a mechanism and then the topic and details. This is how he goes about developing his new expert game, GAMA, and the local environmental problems. Finally, the question, which publishers want to publish a game about environmental problems in Ghana? I can't see Lookout Games or Fureland Games as the right publishers for that game, or will they try and change the theme for the game if the mechanisms in the prototype are a new Rosenberg masterpiece? So he's saying he didn't think that this theme, environmental issues in Ghana, would sell. Will publishers change the theme if they do pick the game up? Maybe. And I don't know if this game ever came out. Ignacy, do you even know if this game did come out under the name Ghana?
I don't recognize it.
Yeah. So what do you think? Are there game themes that, like this one, Ghana having environmental issues?
We have an example from our cooperation. We did D-Maker. This game about elections in Germany.
Yep.
This is not a sexy theme, let's face it.
Yep.
And the game, in terms of the gameplay, is absolutely brilliant. It's one of the best area control games. It's very thematic. Yeah, I absolutely love it. It wasn't a big hit in Poland because not many gamers were excited about the game about elections in Germany. So that's for sure that if the publisher has a right to discuss with the designer or partner, making it more pop, making it more interesting for the audience, it is always a good addition, a good idea, because the bottom line, we want to sell this game to the customers. We want customers to enjoy the game. We want them to buy it and have at home. And with example like a D-Macher, brilliant, amazing game, but we sold only 1,000 copies and we didn't do a reprint. Although, in my opinion, in terms of the gameplay, the game deserves that. But the theme was very, very niche. So if I was having a prototype from Uwe Rosenberg about the environmental problems in Ghana, I would try to discuss with him, Uwe, let's make it about carrots.
So yeah, I was approached with various games with very questionable themes. My favorite story is the one where Artipia Games came to me and said, we're doing this game about managing a club. I'm like, oh, managing a club. Okay, that sounds pretty cool. Like a dance club. You're going to manage the club. And well, yeah, it's a strip club. I'm like, excuse me. Yes, you're a manager at a strip club. And I was like, no, I am not publishing this game. In the end, it really, no offense, it was not particularly a great game anyway. Masterpiece, aside, that they were talking about an Uwe game who could be a masterpiece. This was a light card game and it was not that great. So it was an easy pass, but I wouldn't do it. So sure, if somebody comes to you with an oddly themed game that's either blatantly offensive to some or just something that it's not going to be appealing, environmental issues in Ghana, that might be. That actually, in today's social, political arena that we live in, the environmental issues in places, maybe you changed. Maybe it became...
We never know. Let's face it. 5 years ago, if we are approached with the game about the birds, we would make fun of it. And then Jamie said, well, game about the birds, I can do it.
Maybe. Everything, yeah, it changes year by year. I mean, in general, a game about environmental issues in Ghana, maybe a game about environmental issues in the world, in this particular location that is generic. Maybe you would do it that way. And maybe in the rule book, you'd have a section. This is actually going on in Ghana. Right, so you could do it like that by changing a little bit of the game, but still keeping it as an environmental game. Another very interesting question. Michael Pistiolis, who's at MG Pistol, have either of you, or do you currently play Magic the Gathering? And regardless whether you have or haven't, what is your favorite color and/or color combinations and why? Ignacy, you were a Magic player, right?
I played occasionally, so I have a couple of decks, and every time the new expansion that is super tempting for me, I play for a couple of weeks, and then I forgot about the Magic for a couple of months. So, but the question is about the color. I like the dark color, both because of the rules. It is always some very nasty and mean tricks, and the artwork on the dark cards are always amazing. And then when I done with playing dark, I also like a white one with the healing and this kind of stuff. So I can say that the least of the colors I ever played is a blue one. I don't think that I have a blue deck.
I knew you were going there too, because that's exactly the same for me. Blue would be my least. It's the hardest color to play. Now, I was never a huge Magic player, so anybody who says no, you didn't understand it, you're right. I don't. I played during Revised, edition, right? So it was alpha, beta, third, revised. I forgot. I played during the revised time and a little bit after that. And I was never played in a tournament, just played casually with friends. My favorite colors were black and red. They're evil and huge damage, and I'm the evil one. They're just in your face, great art and all that kind.
Yep.
And then I would go over to and I'd play blue. I'd play green, white.
Right.
So big healing, nature growth. So like kind of, I don't know, two sides of the coin. And I would not play blue because it was harder to play and wrap my head around the good ways, the counter spells and all that in blue. So that's it. And then, when I board game, I play red because people expect me to play red. And I think you're cutting me off, Ignacy. Is that it?
Yeah, we have to move on.
All right,
I'm
we'll
sorry.
move on. That's okay. Let's get over to playtesting. All right. So last week we asked, what game do you love that most people either do not like or just find okay, or they just don't understand your love for the game very much? Ignacy, who have you picked out in regard to this?
Seth Blua says, I can't figure out all the hype about the King of Tokyo. Come on, this game is amazing. I hear you. This is this famous story when I passed on the rights for the King of Tokyo because the demo was terrible and I thought the game is stupid. Now I absolutely love it. But obviously, this game you played in the particular environment. I don't want to say that you played only with drinking beer because I don't drink beer, but this is this beer type of game, right? Being in a pub, rolling dice, having fun, trash talk, etc., etc. Obviously, this is not the game for let's meet for the game of the King of Tokyo on Thursday afternoon. Like, this is not this type of game. This is something that you just get to your backpack and have at the party and play the game. So King of Tokyo, I love the game, but I understand that somebody may not get the fun of it. Josh says, at least involving people in my main play group, there are haters, Keyforge and Outer Rim. Another similar question you might want to ask in a later playtesting is, what is the lowest ranked BGG game that you love? This is very interesting.
That is a good question for the future.
But it will be a lots of digging in the Board Game Geek to find which one is the lowest one. Keyforge, I have with Keyforge, I have my love phases and the hate phases. Sometimes I hate it when I play it, sometimes I love it. I fully respect and it's brilliant design from Richard Garfield. Outer Rim, I have my collection, so I love it too. And the last pick, I picked it because it was precise answer to my question. So my question is, what game do you love? And the answer from Steven Ekman is Kraftwagen. And he didn't say anything more. He said Kraftwagen.
Very, very to the point.
On point. Brilliant.
Mason P says, the Belgian beers race. You knew I had to pick this one. My play group only finds it okay, but its theme traveling around Belgium in a race to taste the most beers and visit the most breweries enthralls me. I've only been to Belgium once, but it is my favorite place and beer in the world. Well, I've got to get, I don't know this game. I got to play this game, and I really want to go to Belgium to travel around and go to all the monasteries and all the great beers, because Belgium is a small country with some amazing, amazing beers. So that's a great pick. Sarah Reed, a very big friend of the show. She posts a lot when I post the YouTube videos. She's constantly commenting there. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
I can think of a couple of games, but I'll go with Fabled Fruit by Friedemann Friese. Good choice. I know the theme is nonsensical, making smoothies with fruit you get from jungle animals. It certainly is. But I really enjoy the mechanics and how the action options change as you play. There's a deck of cards you progress through, which takes quite a few plays to get through it all. Unfortunately, for me, my husband doesn't care for it, and he's the only one I play games with right now. I have one friend who finds it interesting enough to remember it as a smoothie game, but due to the pandemic, we haven't gotten together. So sad, sad, sad. And Kirk W. First answer would be Flam Rouge. Another great game by Stronghold. Thank you. I really love this game, as do I, Kirk. It's just so elegant with perfectly capturing the feel of bicycle racing. Sadly, every one of my regular gaming friends and even Tom Vassell, boo, actually absolutely hates it. I actually mentioned this to Asgar himself, and he told me it was time to get new friends. So for now, it sits gathering dust in the hopes that I will find those new friends. So, and honorable mention goes to Pret-a-Porter, which is great. So he mentions both the game I did and the game you did here. So I'm gonna give a big thumbs up to Flam Rouge, because it is, I think it's the best racing game out there. I just love it. So I don't know why Tom would not like the game. It's brilliant, and it always, if you play the game right, it's always tight at the end. So fantastic game.
I agree. I have Polish edition of this game. Beautiful. It's in my collection. I love it.
Very, very cool. Ignacy.
I have a question today. Stephen will have to write it. So now I will explain what is my question, and I will use the talent of Stephen to make it into the words. I don't know, Stephen, if you saw it a couple of days ago, a big drama on social media about the shipping costs for the newest Kickstarter from Simon Games. I don't know if you saw it. People are complaining because the price is very, very high. And my question is to you guys, how much you are aware that there's no such a thing like a free shipping, that free shipping means that somebody is paying for this shipping, it is not you. And how often the lack of the free shipping stops you for purchasing a game. Like if you want to buy something, you go to the online store, you click that you want to purchase, then you see a shipping cost and say, oh, no, for that much, I'm not buying it. Like how much this shipping is a problem for you? And if you are aware that it is really difficult for the publishers to offer you free shipping on every single item. So this is my very vague question, which is a response to what is happening right now on social media when I see people complaining that shipping is so expensive. And I'm always in the position of the publisher, and I always say, we are not making these prices. We are using third party. We are using other companies to deliver this product to you. We as the publishers create a game, and then we have to hire UPC or UPS or other companies to deliver to you. So yeah, this is my question. And Stephen is trying to make it into one sentence.
So yeah, I was trying to because that's a hard question to phrase exactly. And tell me if I got this right. And I phrased it this way: with all the drama around Simon's shipping for their, I got the word there wrong, for their Marvel Zombies game. How important is cheap shipping or free shipping to you? Do you refuse to buy games due to the shipping cost? Did I get that
perfect.
right?
The last one is perfect. Like exactly. Do you refuse to buy game due to the shipping cost? Like it is, I would love to have this game, but oh my God, for $15 of shipping, I'm not doing that. Like if this is something that happened to you, perfect.
Okay, so for me, this is funny. Now again, and everybody's in different situations, right? Everybody's in a different economic situation. So I completely, it's easy to even say I can't buy a game if it costs $50. I just can't afford it. That's what it is. But
if you're buying a game for $50 and if you are complaining about 15 additional bucks for the shipping, if this is the case, like if you can afford the game, is this 15 another problem, right?
Right, but in this case with Marvel Zombies,
this is ridiculous. I know.
Yeah, I went all in, and I almost regret.
Yeah,
So you think so? I can't wait to see what they end up shipping me, because I got all of Marvel Zombies, which I almost regret doing. It was so stupidly expensive. It made no sense for me to buy what I bought. I almost regret the whole thing, but I love Marvel, and the miniatures were off the hook beautiful, but I bought the whole thing. And you can go back and look at how much that was. It's so stupidly expensive, the whole all-in pledge. Then they came and they just came out with the pledge manager, and they said, okay, here's what your shipping cost is going to be. And they give you two options. Wait till it all ships for one cost, or you do it in two waves for an even higher cost. And I just looked at this and I'm like, oh my God, it's It was the one wave shipping was $130 something. The two wave shipping, of course, is more because you'd get some early and get some late. It was like $200. And I just said, "Oh my god! All right, just send it to me. In the one wave. I'll wait until the end." But it was so, and I just click fine. I didn't get angry, but it was crazy amount of money. But and I don't even know how big of a box or how many boxes, so I can't even get angry at anybody at CMON. But the fact of the matter is, Amazon has spoiled all of us. That's sort of the bigger commentary here is
Prime,
Amazon.
the free, yep.
Amazon has spoiled all of us. You have Prime in Poland?
We have Prime in Poland for the past 2 or 3 months. It is a new thing in Poland. They just entered the Polish market. So I guess they will spoil us in upcoming months. But the free shipping, I always say there is no free shipping. This is just somebody else is paying for your shipping.
That is
nothing on the world is free.
Nothing in the world is free except for the air.
Somebody else is paying for that.
So I guess my answer to the question is no. I will buy the game regardless of if I have to pay a shipping cost. I like to reduce the shipping. I'd like to get free shipping. I'd like to go to the store and buy it and avoid shipping. But I do not refuse to buy a game due to a shipping cost. Ignacy, do you?
I did a couple of times that we mentioned on this Emerson game, because especially so many Kickstarter games, the whole logistic is prepared for the US customer, because the US is the biggest market. So they have all the transport created the way that the printout goes to America, and then they ship to different countries. So there's many Kickstarters that I can afford, but I say no, this is ridiculous. So this is perfect example of this game. So yes, sometimes I say I would love this game to have, but the shipping is so expensive. I pass. So sometimes yes, I have to say no to the game I would love to have in my collection, and I would love to buy it from the local game store. But with the Kickstarter, it is not always the case. It is now or never, right?
Right, exactly. So right now, Ignacy is going to create a thread
I'm on it.
For you to answer our question to you. So please go to the Guild on Board Game Geek and find our plate testing thread for this question and post your answer to it. We'd love to hear from you, as always. In the meantime, we get to the final scoring. Thank you so much for listening. Help us spread the word about this podcast by telling your friends to download Board Games Insider wherever they like to get their podcasts, or now watch Board Games Insider on the Podfather of Gaming YouTube channel. To ask us questions for our strategy and tactics segment, you must post them in the correct thread in our Guild on Board Game Geek. To answer our question to you from the playtesting segment, also go to our Guild on Board Game Geek and look for the thread with this episode's question. Board Games Insider has a Facebook page, so please like us on Facebook. Also on Facebook, please like Ignacy's page and Steven's page, /PortalGamesUS and /PodfatherGaming. The websites, portalgamesus.com, podfathergaming.com. Please go there, sign up for the newsletters, get up-to-the-minute information on what's happening at Portal Games and with the Podfather. On social media, you can speak directly to Ignacy and Steven. On Twitter and Instagram, it's @PortalGamesUS and @PodfatherGaming. And on YouTube, the channel names are Portal Games Movies, Portal Games Gameplays, and The Podfather of Gaming. On TikTok, Portal Games US. We hope to see you at an upcoming convention in 2022. Remember, Board Games Insider is professionally edited by Matthew Jude from This Game is Broken podcast. If you'd like him to edit your podcast, please contact him on Twitter or email him at thisgameisbrokenpodcast@gmail.com. Also, that great voice you hear doing the intro, outro, and in-between segments is that of Ray Greenlee. He can be contacted to do voiceover work at raygreenleevoiceover.com. Ignacy, what's going on here? You've got some.
I have very short manifest. My request to you guys: if you are in Europe, if you are in Italy, if you are going to the Modena fair, meet me there. I will be there to meet with fans from Italy. And remember, bring cookies. It is always a great thing to bring me some stuff. I'm coming by car because I'm afraid of flying. So instead of making a 60 minutes flight from Poland, I will be spending 12 hours in the car. this is Ignacy at his best. So I have a lot of space for cookies from Italy. So I hope to meet many of you guys in Modena. And yes, and then I go to France, and then I meet you guys in America.
You are going to drive 12 hours where you could take a plane instead. You are insane.
No, I'm crazy, that's for sure.
Yes.
But I want to give a shout out to my wife who agreed with me, and she's coming with me. And the fact that she didn't kill me for this decision, this is like, she's an amazing woman.
She is an amazing woman.
Me.
She obviously loves you a lot. Well, have a good time in Modena and then in France, and we look forward to seeing you. I look forward to seeing you, and all the fans look forward to seeing you as well at Dice Tower East. Hopefully we'll have a meetup there with people who like Board Games Insider. I think that'd be great.
Oh, for sure, because I need to be an ongoing Crokinole champion. So yeah.
Yes, of course. That means I have to bring the board. Okay. Take it easy, everybody. Talk to you soon. Bye.